Right, so hey everyone and welcome back to another budget photography video. So when you're making content like I do, you get into video work. It's just part of it, obviously. You know, you microphones, lights, cameras and tripods and stuff like that. But one thing that people like about professional cameras is called raw video, and it's kind of like a raw picture in a way, but it's moving. And lots of different camera companies such as Canon have their own version. So Red have Red Raw, which sounds a bit weird, but okay, we'll go with it. And Canon have something called C-Log, which in a way is kind of like a picture profile, but it's not a picture profile. It just means that you have more information within the image to mess around with color grading, and it's just better quality of video, really. Now, most of the time raw video is on high-end cameras, but more recently it has been coming down to more consumer level cameras such as the Sony Alpha range. They have S-Log, which isn't as big as full-blown raw, but it is still a very good file, but it is a very big file, the same as a raw video files. So because I don't have them kind of cameras, I have to shoot in what's called a flat picture profile, which I showed you guys in my last video, where I take all the sharpness out, I take all the contrast, the saturation and everything to give me a flat picture profile, so that I've got a little bit more room to play with when I'm color grading and editing the videos. So why don't I show you guys how I color grade my footage? I've got footage already imported on my iPad. It's plugged in right now because it needs charging. So why don't we go over to the iPad and I'll show you how I color grade footage. So this is basically what the camera sees when you are not color grading anything at all, really. I'm actually speaking in here so I know which one is which. But you can see it is a nice image, but it's not really the best in a way. It's just straight out of camera. There's nothing really there, although you can actually see my partner's coat just there in the background. But it looks just nice straight out of the camera, I won't lie. It does look really nice, but that isn't really what I want. So if we go back and we go to here, you can see the difference. Now I am using the same settings, apart from I'm now shooting in a flatter picture profile. That is it. That is the only difference between the two videos. I'm shooting in a flat picture profile in this video. You know, my partner's coat is still there in the background. I haven't really moved, so yeah, although I have just paused that when I'm about to itch my face. Just so you know, I am wearing obviously a different t-shirt. I filmed this about a week ago. But you can see the difference between the two. That looks a very nice, typical Canon yellow, because I'm using yellow lights right here to give it just a better look. I just prefer that. And then here it's a very flat. It's actually quite blue, even though I'm using the same settings. So if we go to the editing software, where now it should have hopefully imported, which it hasn't, so I will pause here and we will wait for this to fully load. So now that has fully loaded in, what we're going to do is we can just scrub through this footage, and you can obviously see that it is, it's very flat in comparison to the other one. So what we'll do is we can actually go into the editing tool and then tap original, because we want the original one, and then here comes up a load of color controls, lighting controls. Now I do actually have some what are called LUTs, so I can just apply them if I really want to, so I can go with that. That's actually quite nice, although there isn't much contrast within the image, so I would personally add, oh, there we go, I did that by mistake, but that's actually pretty good, so I could go with that if I really wanted to, but for this we won't. But I think what we will do is we'll try and achieve that this look here. So I think we'll bring up the brightness, we'll bring in some contrast, which already makes it look really nice. We'll bring down the saturation just a little bit, and then we'll add in some blue, and then maybe a little bit more bluey kind of thing. a little bit more that way, just like that. Now this could do with a little bit more contrast. We don't want too much because it just looks horrible and just not very nice at all. But we don't want too little because it just doesn't look, it doesn't look like anything at all. So we'll just add in just like that. Have a look at the vibrance. We don't really want much vibrance. We want it quite blue, quite cold really. Even though I shoot in a yellow color here, I actually edit towards the bluer colors. I like them. They're just cool. They just look cool. Not as in cool as in like good, as in I just prefer the you get what I'm trying to go for here. So that's kind of really it. It's not really very, you know, very much, but like if we go to, we might have the same problems with the other one, but if we now scoot that along, so we've now got that. Now if we bring in the other one, which probably no might like, oh no it is, so you can see a definite difference. If I bring that towards the end there, and then you can see the yellowy difference between them. Now if I then go and edit this one, so if I go to about here and we go to the same tool, now again I can push the button for B-roll. It's called B-roll. Now that does again look really, really nice, but we don't want that, so we're going to go back to original. Now I'm not saying that you can't edit this kind of stuff, but it is a little bit more difficult, because if we bring that up, let's see if we can actually make it like it. So we'll bring the saturation down, we'll add in some more contrast. Ooh, so we've added about the same amount of contrast, bring down the vibrancy, do the blues again, and that blue. So that does look okay. I would be, personally, I would be kind of happy with that, but not really happy with that. I mean, if we go back and we look at the two pieces of footage together, they do look kind of the same, but there is still a lot of difference. This second one here is a lot more blue than this first one. So if we actually cut out, we just get rid of that for a second so we can see a bit of more of a difference. We can see that actually there's more of a purpley kind of, I think it's magenta-y colour towards this, which looks a little bit more natural to me, whereas this one just looks a little bit more green. So I mean, I'm sure we could actually see if we could actually go and, you know, see if we can get that out, see if we get rid of some of that green. So we'll bring it towards the purple now, and we'll bring in some more blue to see if we can get it to that same, yeah, you see that is even more, that's more purple than this one is. So again, we can change that. And this is what I actually really like about this little app. This is actually only on my iPad, so we can bring in some more purple colours to it. But you can see it is a lot, we need some yellow in that. It is a lot more different. Let's have a look now. So that, you know, it is a lot harder to color grade the footage that you've got when you shoot with a non-flat picture profile. The one thing that I would actually do with this one here, this first one, is actually maybe bring in some sharpening if I can. So can we get some sharpening? Maybe? No? Okay, that's the one thing that I would try and add into this, is some sharpening. I mean, if we go into the native iPad app and we go to the one that isn't color graded here, and we push the edit button, and then we go into the menu here, we can have an auto if we want. We've got exposure, shadows, contrast, brightness. So we just want to scroll all the way down to sharpness, and I would actually bring the sharpness up a little bit and then maybe import it into the LumaFusion app, because Canon are quite they're quite flat, so to speak. So I do usually add in some extra sharpness if and only if I need to. I usually don't, but because I do like Canon colors, I like their file sizes, I just like Canon, to be fair. And nobody can really change my mind about that. But you can see that it is much easier to edit something with a flat picture profile than it is to edit something that hasn't got that flat picture profile within it. So thanks for joining me in this video, guys, and I will see you in the next one.